Welcome into this week's Fantasy Fuel Up presented by Ray Autogroup. I'm Adam Hogue, joined by always by Ray Scarpelli from Ray Autogroup. He's been killing it with his fantasy picks. Ray, we are getting into the playoffs here, depending on your league. You're either starting this week or you're in crunch time trying to make the playoffs this week, like in my league. But as always, we're going to give you guys 3 starts, 3 sits, and a couple sleepers as well, including a take on this week's Bears game. Ray, let's start with your quarterback this week that you definitely want to get in your starting lineup.
What's up, guys? It's CHGO. My quarterback start of the week is Matthew Stafford of the LA Rams. He's just been on an absolute heater the last couple weeks. Cooper Kupp looks to be healthy. Here, you want to have a guy in your lineup, especially come playoff time, that quarterback or even that wide receiver or running back has something to play for. I think sometimes, when it comes to like a game like fantasy football, sometimes we don't think of the mental aspect of the game. And I brought that up to you guys in our last video. And here, the Stafford and the Rams, they're fighting to make the playoffs right now. So I think he's a great start. He's been on an absolute heater the last couple of weeks.
All right, and how about at running back? I know a very controversial one here.
Yes, I got a very controversial one here. I'm sure this player got you into the playoffs, but he should also win you your playoff match if he's locked into your lineup, and that's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, other than Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey has been the absolute fantasy MVP of your roster. But I want to just bring up a couple statistics. The run defense in Arizona is last against running backs. Any running back that you had other than McCaffrey that played Arizona and their defense, they're just not good at stopping the run. So I expect them to put up 25 to 30 points this week.
All right, this wide receiver is very interesting to me, mainly because he's on my own fantasy team. Yes, you do care about my fantasy team. No, but for real, this is like a fringe guy, somebody that if you've had Zay Flowers on your team this year, you've been using him some weeks, not other weeks, but this week you're saying get him in your lineup.
100%. Get him in your lineup. I mean, here they're playing against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's reeling a little bit. They lost Christian Kirk. He's on IR. Trevor Lawrence is looking a little banged up. He was, here, Evan Ingram played well for Jacksonville, but obviously we're talking about Zay Flowers here, and he's really growing into that alpha role. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here. I think Baltimore rides him all the way to the Super Bowl this year in the AFC. So, and I think Zay Flowers is a big part of that. I mean, he's looking like dominant alpha with Mark Andrews being gone. His target share has only grown.
All right, now, so those are your 3 starts. Got to get those guys in your lineup this week. Let's talk about the guys that you're saying, I don't know, this is not the week. You should probably sit them, maybe look for another option. Let's start at quarterback.
Yes. At quarterback, I mean, here, I'm going to go with Tua again. I mean, here, if you guys listened to me last time we did this, Tua had one of his worst games against the season against the Jets, and I kind of expect him to have the same. Tyreek Hill, is day-to-day right now, and if you guys watch that game on Monday night, here we talk about MVP conversations, Tua being in that MVP conversation. Well, I think that kind of got settled here a little bit with Tyreek Hill, being in and out of the game, and they're not the same team. So, especially against that Jets defense, I'd look to sit him and find another option.
Yeah, it's all about matchups. If you have the choice to sit guys sometimes, same thing here at running back.
Yes, at running back, same thing. Kenneth Walker, that Philly defense, I think here, I mean, they're really, really good against defending the run. One of the best in fantasy. I mean, they're not good at defending the pass. I mean, we kind of saw that with that Cowboys game, but I mean, here defending the run, they're pretty good at it. And Kenneth Walker's just getting back off an injury, and you never know. I mean, here that other rookie, Zach Charbonnet, really looked good too. They're you kind of got to look at, hey, is Charbonnet going to maybe steal some work from Walker against this defense, change of pace running back. So I'd look to sit Kenneth Walker.
All right. And then at wide receiver, this one's interesting to me too. I think this is the exact thing I texted you about a couple weeks ago, actually. Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. So you're making my lineup decision for me
Yeah,
this week
yeah.
because you said put Zay Flowers in. He's a starter, but for sit at wide receiver, you're saying sit Jordan Addison.
I'm saying sit Jordan Addison because I mean here, like the Vikings just changed their quarterback. I know the last time Josh Dobbs he kind of turned into a pumpkin a little bit on my last recommendation for a quarterback, but you know they changed out of him. They're starting Mullins, and I just really don't know if I trust this offense really at this point with another quarterback. I mean Jefferson said he's going to play. So I just think that means less opportunities for Jordan Addison. So I'd look to sit him.
All right, your sleeper of the week.
My sleeper of the week. I actually have him in my league, and I'm starting him this week as well. He's kind of been sort of a welcome surprise, but Ezekiel Elliott. If you guys watched that game on Thursday, the Pats and the Steelers, Ezekiel Elliott looked like he turned back the clock to his Cowboy days. I mean, he was just catching balls out of the backfield. Bailey Zappi was looking like Tom Brady. I mean, it was crazy, crazy game. It was expected to be a sleeper, and Ezekiel Elliott was the star of the show. And in fantasy, you want players that get volume. There's nobody really on that Patriots offense that's any good. Like even some of those pass catchers, I mean, aren't very good. I mean, Demario Douglas has been a little banged up. Devontae Parker, Hunter Henry will explode for a couple touchdowns every now and then, but you want consistent work. And I expect Zeke to get 15 to 20 carries and get you 15 points on your team.
All right, and pay attention to these sleepers because the last one he gave you was Jaden Reed, and that was on Thanksgiving, and Jaden Reed scored a touchdown like right away to start the game. So Ray's been putting the work in on these, and he's taking you to your fantasy championship. Let's do a Bears angle before we get out of here. Who do you like in this Bears-Browns matchup? Two good defenses, maybe not a ton of fantasy points available, but there is one guy that you are leaning towards.
Yes, and that guy is Justin Fields here. He's been another guy that's been on a heater the last few games since he's gotten back from injury. And again, I bring up the mental aspect of the game sometimes when we play fantasy football that we forget about sometimes as players in the game. But I will say his first game against his pro debut was against Cleveland. He got sacked a ton, Bears fans going crazy, like, hey, man, like, how can we have our quarterback out here? Cleveland's just tearing this guy apart. I think he looks to redeem himself against Cleveland this Sunday. And I expect him to throw for not only a couple touchdowns, but we always forget about that rushing upside with him sometimes when you put in your quarterback, you're like, oh, okay, like, how many yards is he going to give me? How many touchdowns is he going to give me? But like Fields against even a tough defense in Cleveland, I think he's still going to accrue a lot of rushing yards. There's not that bell cow back that we got on the Bears right now. It's kind of a weird committee right now between Foreman, Roshan, Herbert, all these guys are getting little pieces of work, but Fields still has got those designed runs, and I would look to start him.
All right, Ray, I drove by the dealership the other day over the weekend. I know you guys got a lot of cars on those lots. I know you got a lot of incentives to try to move some things.
Yes, we do. Here, it's the last month of the year for us. It's always, big month historically in the industry. I know here affordability is the talk of, on a lot of consumers' minds. And I can tell you with confidence that our dealership, we're always looking at affordability. We're always looking to sell some cars here at our dealerships between our Chevrolet store and our Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealership. We've got 0% on select models. I mean, here, I talked to our general manager this morning, and I'm ordering up 159 new Chevrolets between today and tomorrow. So I've got a ton of inventory coming. I've got a lot of Silverados coming. I've got percentages off on a bunch of brand new vehicles, new Jeeps, new Chevys, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. And as always, we've got our Ray price promise, our price online. Everybody qualifies for it. We want to make it a quick and easy transaction for you guys, especially over at CHGO.
And Right now, I know you guys got 125 vehicles under 20,000 too if you're looking for affordability. And free oil changes. Get in there, schedule your oil change with Ray Autogroup. And if you mention CHGO at the time of scheduling that, it's free. Free oil changes, but you got to get those in by the end of December. So, Ray, hopefully people are listening to your fantasy advice. They get home all the way to the end, win their championship, and then go see you guys over there at Ray Autogroup, maybe celebrate with a new car.
Yes, exactly. Celebrate that playoff winner, that championship with a brand new car. I love talking football and I like talking cars too. So please call us over here at our dealerships at Ray Chevrolet and Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
And that's this week's Fantasy Fuel Up presented by Ray Autogroup.
We all silly like the mayor.